Hello and welcome to the English Broadcast Studio. My name is Alex.
And I'm Sarah. We are so happy you have joined us today. This is your special place for B1 English listening practice. We are here to help you improve your English comprehension in a fun and natural way.
That's right, Sarah. In our podcasts, we talk about interesting topics using clear, easy-to-understand English. We speak a little slower than native speakers usually do, so you can follow along easily. Today, we have a very exciting topic. It's something everyone loves to dream about.
Oh, I think I know what it is. Is it related to packing bags, buying tickets, and seeing new places?
Exactly. Today, we are talking all about travel and holidays. We will discuss our past experiences, our dream destinations, and give you some useful vocabulary along the way.
It sounds fantastic. So if you're ready to improve your English and travel the world with us in conversation, let's begin.
All right, Sarah. To start, I have a question for you. When you hear the words travel and holiday, do you think they mean the same thing? For me, they can be a little different.
That's a great question, Alex. I think they are often used interchangeably, meaning people use them to mean the same thing. But for me, there is a small difference. A holiday makes me think of relaxing, lying on a beach, reading a book, swimming in the sea, and not doing much at all. The main purpose is to rest and recharge your batteries.
I completely agree. A holiday is for unwinding. It's a break from work and daily stress. But travel for me sounds more active. It sounds more like an adventure. It's about exploring new cities, visiting museums, trying to understand a new culture, and maybe even hiking in the mountains.
Yes, exactly. When I think of traveling, I think of sightseeing and being a tourist. You have a camera in your hand, a map, and you want to see everything. It can be tiring, but it's also very rewarding. You learn so much. So a holiday is for relaxing and travel is for exploring.
A perfect summary. So, do you prefer a relaxing holiday or an adventurous travel experience?
It's difficult to choose. I think it depends on how I feel. Sometimes after a very busy period at work, all I want is a quiet holiday on a beach. But most of the time, I am curious and I want to see new things, so I would probably choose to travel and explore. What about you, Alex?
I'm similar. I enjoy both. But if I had to choose just one type for the rest of my life, I think I would choose relaxing holidays. I love the feeling of having no schedule, no plans, and just waking up and deciding what to do that day. The simple life.
That sounds lovely. This brings me to my next question. Can you tell me about one of your most memorable holidays? A trip that you still think about?
Oh, absolutely. A few years ago, I went to Thailand for 2 weeks. It was the perfect example of a relaxing holiday. I stayed in a small bungalow right near the beach on an island called Koh Lanta.
Wow, Thailand is famous for its beautiful islands. What was it like?
It was incredible. Every morning, I would wake up to the sound of the waves. I would have a simple breakfast of fresh fruit like mango and pineapple. Then I would just walk to the beach and find a nice, quiet spot. The water was so warm and clear, I spent hours just swimming and reading my book.
That sounds like a dream. Did you do any activities or was it all just relaxing?
Mostly relaxing, but I did do a few things. I took a Thai cooking class one day, which was so much fun. I learned how to make pad Thai and green curry. The food in Thailand is just amazing, so fresh and full of flavor. I also went on a boat trip to some smaller islands. We did some snorkeling and saw beautiful coral reefs and colorful fish.
A cooking class is such a great idea. It's a wonderful way to connect with the local culture. What was your favorite thing about that trip?
My favorite thing was the simplicity. No stress, no rush, and the people were so friendly and welcoming. Everyone smiled. It really taught me the importance of slowing down. Now it's your turn, Sarah. Tell me about one of your most memorable travel experiences. I bet it was an adventure.
You bet. Right. My most memorable trip was a city break to Rome in Italy. It was the complete opposite of your relaxing beach holiday. It was busy, full of history, and I walked for miles every single day.
Rome, the eternal city. I have always wanted to go there. What did you see?
Oh, what didn't I see? I spent 5 days there and I tried to see as much as possible. Of course, I visited the Colosseum. It was just breathtaking. When you stand inside it, you can almost imagine the gladiators and the history. It's a powerful feeling. I also visited the Roman Forum, which are the ruins of the ancient city center.
It must feel like walking back in time.
It really does. I also went to Vatican City to see St. Peter's Basilica and the Sistine Chapel with Michelangelo's famous paintings. I had to wait in a long queue, but it was absolutely worth it. The art was just magnificent.
And the food? Italian food is world famous.
The food was a huge part of the experience. I think I ate pasta for lunch and dinner every single day. And pizza, of course, and gelato. The ice cream in Italy is on another level. I remember one evening I was sitting in a small square, a piazza, eating a delicious plate of cacio and pepe, and just watching people walk by. It was a perfect moment.
It sounds like a very full and exciting trip. Did you face any challenges? A big city like Rome can be overwhelming.
Yes, it was a little overwhelming at times. The city is very bustling and crowded, especially around the main tourist attractions, and I did get lost a couple of times, even with a map. But getting lost can be fun too. I discovered some beautiful, quiet little streets away from the crowds. It was all part of the adventure.
That's a great way to look at it. Your story about Rome makes me think about planning. How much do you plan before a trip? Are you a detailed planner or are you more spontaneous?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I like to have the important things booked in advance. For example, I always book my flights and my accommodation, the hotel or apartment where I will stay, before I go. For a city like Rome, I also bought my ticket for the Colosseum online before my trip to avoid the long queues.
That's very smart. So you plan the big things. What about the daily activities?
For the daily activities, I like to be more flexible. I usually make a list of things I want to see and do, but I don't make a strict schedule or itinerary. I might decide in the morning, okay, today I feel like visiting a museum, or today I just want to walk around and explore a new neighborhood. This way I have a guide, but I also have freedom. What about you, Alex? You seem like a very relaxed person. Do you plan at all?
You are right. I am not a big planner. For my trip to Thailand, I only booked my flight and my first 2 nights of accommodation. That's it. After I arrived, I decided where to go next. I like the freedom of being spontaneous. It makes the trip feel more like a real adventure, even if it's a relaxing one.
Wow, that's very brave. I think I would be a little nervous without having a place to stay booked for the whole trip. But I can see why it's exciting. You can change your plans if you find a place you really love and want to stay longer.
Exactly. But I do think some basic planning is always important. For example, checking if you need a visa for the country, making sure your passport is valid, and maybe learning a few basic phrases in the local language, like hello, thank you, and goodbye.
Absolutely. That is essential preparation for any trip. And packing, we can't forget about packing. Are you a good packer? Do you pack light or do you take a huge suitcase?
I try to pack light. I usually travel with just a backpack. I take only essential clothes. I always think if I forget something, I can probably buy it there. It makes moving around so much easier. You?
I wish I could be like you. I always pack too much. I have this fear of not having the right outfit or forgetting something important, so my suitcase is always a bit heavy. I am trying to get better at it, though. My goal for my next trip is to travel with only a carry-on bag.
I believe in you, Sarah. You can do it. Okay, so we've talked about our travel styles and past trips. I think this is a good moment to pause and review some of the useful vocabulary we've used so far. This is great for our B1 listeners.
Excellent idea, Alex. Let's do a quick vocabulary recap.
First, we use the word unwind. To unwind means to relax, especially after a period of work or stress. For example, I like to go to the beach to unwind.
Good one. Next up is sightseeing. This is the activity of visiting famous or interesting places in a city or area. For example, we spent the whole day sightseeing in Paris.
Another useful word is accommodation. This word refers to the place that you stay on holiday, like a hotel, an apartment, or a guest house. For example, I need to book my accommodation for my trip to London.
And how about itinerary? An itinerary is a detailed plan or schedule of a journey. For example, our itinerary includes a visit to the museum in the morning and a boat trip in the afternoon.
Great one. I also used the word spontaneous. If you are spontaneous, you do things without planning them first. For example, we made a spontaneous decision to go to the cinema.
And finally, the word bustling. We use this to describe Rome. Bustling means full of busy activity and people. For example, New York City is a bustling city with a lot of energy.
Perfect. So the words were unwind, sightseeing, accommodation, itinerary, spontaneous, and bustling. We hope that helps you, our listeners, to understand our conversation better.
All right, let's continue. We've talked about the good parts of travel, but let's be realistic. Sometimes things can go wrong. Have you ever had a bad travel experience or faced a serious problem during a trip, Alex?
Thankfully, I haven't had any really terrible experiences, but I have faced small problems, of course. I remember one time on a trip to Portugal, my friend and I rented a car. We were driving in a small, old town with very narrow streets. We were using a GPS on my phone, but it suddenly stopped working.
Oh no, that sounds stressful. What did you do?
We were completely lost. The streets were like a maze. We tried to use a paper map, but it was very confusing. In the end, we had to stop and ask for directions. The problem was, the old man we asked did not speak any English, and my Portuguese is non-existent.
The classic language barrier. How did you communicate?
It was quite funny, actually. We used a lot of hand gestures. I was pointing at the map, making driving motions with my hands, and trying to say the name of our hotel. He was very kind and patient. He understood what we needed and pointed us in the right direction, smiling the whole time. It was a good lesson in how kindness is a universal language.
That's a wonderful story. It shows that even when things go wrong, it can become a memorable part of the trip. I had a similar issue with a language barrier in Japan once. I wanted to buy a train ticket from a machine, but all the instructions were in Japanese characters. I was so confused.
What did you do?
I stood there for about 10 minutes, completely lost. Then a young student saw me. She came over and in very simple English asked if I needed help. She helped me buy the correct ticket and even showed me which platform to go to. I was so grateful for her help.
People can be so helpful to travelers. It's one of the best things about visiting new places. Other than getting lost, have you had other problems, like with flights or hotels?
I've been quite lucky. I once had a flight that was delayed by 5 hours. It was very boring waiting at the airport, but it wasn't a disaster. I just read my book and listened to music. But I know for some people, a delayed or canceled flight can ruin their plans. It's always a good idea to have travel insurance just in case.
That is very practical advice. Travel insurance can really save you from a lot of trouble and expense if something unexpected happens.
Let's move on to a more cheerful topic now. Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about our dreams. Alex, if you could travel anywhere in the world with no limits on money or time, where would you go? What is your ultimate dream destination?
Oh, that's a tough one because there are so many places I want to see. But I think my number one dream trip would be a road trip across the United States.
A classic American road trip? That sounds amazing. Which route would you take?
I would want to do the famous Route 66, or at least parts of it. I'd start in Chicago and drive all the way to Los Angeles. I loved the idea of driving through different landscapes. You would see big cities, small towns, deserts, and mountains. I would rent a comfortable car, maybe even a convertible, create a great music playlist, and just drive.
What would you want to see along the way?
I would want to visit the national parks, like the Grand Canyon in Arizona. I've seen photos, but I can't imagine how incredible it must be in real life. I would also love to stop at small, traditional American diners, eat burgers and milkshakes, and talk to local people. For me, this trip is about freedom and seeing the vastness of a country.
That sounds like an unforgettable adventure. It's a trip that's as much about the journey as the destination. I hope you get to do it one day, Alex.
Thank you, Sarah. I hope so too. Now it's your turn. What is your ultimate dream destination?
My dream destination is Japan. I'm absolutely fascinated by Japanese culture. It seems to be a place where ancient traditions and futuristic technology live together perfectly.
Japan is a fantastic choice. What is the first thing you would want to do there?
I would love to go during the spring to see the cherry blossoms. The pictures I've seen of the sakura, the cherry blossom trees, are just stunningly beautiful. I imagine walking through a park in Kyoto surrounded by pink flowers. It must be magical.
It certainly sounds magical. What else is on your Japan list?
So many things. I would want to explore the bustling city of Tokyo, especially the famous Shibuya crossing. I would also love to travel on the Shinkansen, the bullet train, which is famous for being incredibly fast and always on time. And I would want to visit the quieter, more traditional side of Japan. Maybe stay in a ryokan, a traditional Japanese inn, and relax in an onsen, a hot spring bath.
And the food, of course.
Of course, I love Japanese food. I would want to try authentic sushi and ramen from a local restaurant. I've heard that even the food you buy in a convenience store in Japan is delicious. It's a country that seems to pay so much attention to detail and quality in everything.
It sounds like you have it all planned out in your mind. Your trip sounds like a perfect mix of city excitement and natural beauty.
Yes, it's been my dream for a long time. I think travel is so important because it opens your mind. It shows you that there are many different ways to live, and it helps you understand the world and other people better.
I couldn't agree more. Every trip changes you a little bit. You come back with new memories, new stories, and a new perspective.
Before we finish, let's think about our listeners who are learning English. Do you have any tips for them if they want to travel to an English-speaking country?
That's a great point. My first tip would be don't be afraid to make mistakes. People in countries like the UK, the USA, or Australia are generally very friendly and patient. They will appreciate that you're trying to speak their language. It's okay if your grammar isn't perfect. Communication is the most important thing.
That is the best advice. Confidence is key. I would also suggest learning some key phrases for travel. For example, learning how to ask for directions, how to order food in a restaurant, and how to buy a ticket. You can practice these phrases before you go.
Yes, and using your English in real situations is the best way to improve. You can also watch movies or TV shows from the country you are going to visit. It helps you get used to the accent. For example, the British accent is quite different from the American accent.
A very good tip. And my final piece of advice would be to just be open and curious. Ask questions, talk to people in your hotel, in shops, on tours. People often love to talk about their hometown. It's a fantastic way to practice your English and learn about the culture at the same time.
Excellent advice, Sarah. So, to all our listeners, we encourage you to travel if you can. And if you travel to an English-speaking country, see it as a wonderful opportunity to practice everything you are learning with us.
Wow, Alex, our journey for today's episode is coming to an end. It was so much fun talking about travel and holidays with you.
It was a pleasure, Sarah. And before we go, let's do one final quick vocabulary recap from the second half of our show.
Let's do it. First, we had language barrier. This is the difficulty of communication between people who speak different languages. For example, we had to use a translation app to overcome the language barrier.
Next, delayed. This means something is happening later than planned. For example, our flight was delayed by 2 hours due to bad weather.
Another good one is dream destination. This is the place that a person most wants to visit in the world. For example, my dream destination is Brazil because I want to see the Amazon rainforest.
And we talked about a road trip. A road trip is a long journey taken in a car. For example, they are planning a road trip along the coast of California.
Finally, cherry blossoms. These are the beautiful pink flowers of the Japanese cherry tree. For example, thousands of tourists visit Japan to see the cherry blossoms in April.
Fantastic. We hope those words are useful for you.
And that is all the time we have for today here at the English Broadcast Studio. We really hope you enjoyed our conversation about travel and holidays.
We would love to hear from you. What is your dream destination? Leave a comment below this video on our YouTube channel and tell us where you would love to go and why. We read all your comments.
If you found this listening practice helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, English Broadcast Studio. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next episode.
That's right. Join us next time when we'll be talking about another interesting topic, hobbies and free time. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Until then, keep practicing your English, stay curious, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.